Welcome to South Asia Today, a show that provides you the glimpses of South Asia. I'm your host Yeshi. Here are the headlines. India's Commonwealth Games heroes return home to warm welcome. Newborn children in Afghanistan bear the brunt of economic woes. And women in India and Nepal celebrate sibling festival of Raksha Bandhan. Let's begin the show with the Commonwealth Games 2022, which concluded recently in Birmingham City. India finished at 4th position in the medal tally and the sportsperson received a warm welcome back home. The best performance by Indian athletes is the result of world-class sports infrastructure, training and motivation by the people and the government. Let's take a look.
The 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham has officially come to an end. Creating multiple moments of history, India finished at 4th position with an overall 61 medals, including 22 gold, 15 silver and 23 bronze. The athletes received a heartfelt welcome upon their arrival after a successful journey. Huge crowd outside the airports gave a thunderous welcome to the players. Indian athlete Eldos Paul, who won a historic triple jump gold, shared his happiness.
मेरा इवेंट में जोनाथन एडवर्ड्स है, वो तो लेजेंड है, वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड होल्डर है वो तो। फिर लास्ट ईयर में हमको पता है नीरज चोपड़ा ने गोल्ड लेके आया। वो गोल्ड से हमारा पूरे एथलीट्स को वो मेंटालिटी चेंज कर दिया। हम दिमाग में एक लिमिट रखता है, हमारे को इतना ही कर सकते हैं, ऐसा नहीं है। हम केपेबल, इंडियंस आर केपेबल ऑफ डूइंग अमेजिंग मैजिक्स इन वर्ल्ड। सो हमारा कैपेबिलिटी रियलाइज करना है, वो तो हार्ड वर्क करना है, उसको कीप ब्रेक करना है हमारा लिमिट को।
This was India's 18th appearance at the Commonwealth Games. The improving sports infrastructure, enhanced training facilities and encouragement by the sports authorities has made athletes motivated.
ये मेरे अभी तक की सबसे बेस्ट परफॉर्मेंस रही है और मैं अभी ऐसे ही ट्रेनिंग और अच्छे से ट्रेनिंग करती रहूँगी और ऐसे ही गोल्ड मेडल जीतती रहूँगी अपने देश के लिए।
Nearly 6,500 athletes across 72 Commonwealth nations participated in the multi-sport event, most of which was formerly under the British Empire, representing 2.5 billion people of the world. Enthusiastic competitors showed their outstanding performance to achieve top positions in 280 medal events.
It feels very good and it feels even more good to come back and get this kind of welcome at the airport. So feeling really happy. No, definitely as we went for the tournament, first we had team championship and the team was also looking very good. And then in the individual events also I was very I had that belief from the starting that I can do it, but yeah, I took it one match at a time and didn't put too much pressure on myself.
So what about the future games? What are the games that are going?
So we have 1 week to train and then play the World Championship tournament. So yeah, I'll be preparing for that.
Although Indian athletes performed well in all categories, the wrestlers won the hearts of the Indian audience. Wrestler Sakshi Malik won gold in women's freestyle 62 kg category.
अब की बार बस सोच के यही आई थी कि गोल्ड ही लेके जाना है, क्योंकि मेरा ब्रॉन्ज भी था, सिल्वर भी था, तो बस ये नहीं था कि मेडल लेके आना है। सोच के ही घर से ये चली थी कि गोल्ड ही लेके आना है। और जो ओलंपिक्स में तिरंगा झंडा मैंने लहराया था, मुझे एक बार फिर से वही फील करना है और वो मैंने किया।
The Commonwealth Games, often referred to as the Friendly Games, is a quadrennial international multi-sport event among athletes from the Commonwealth of Nations. Observers say it will provide a level playing field where athletes compete in a spirit of friendship and fair play in the coming future.
Moving on, the people of Afghanistan continue to suffer due to the poor economic situation. Children's malnutrition has always remained a problem in this war-torn country. And according to UNICEF, the situation has worsened since the Taliban became the de facto rulers last year. We have a report.
These children here are being treated for various conditions of malnutrition. The ongoing economic crisis in Afghanistan has deteriorated the conditions of children over the past year under the Taliban's rule. The young ones are admitted at the malnutrition ward of the Indira Gandhi's Children's Hospital in Kabul, where all 40 beds are filled. Medical staff have been doing double shifts in the past year due to the increased number of children being admitted to the hospital.
بله یه بازم زیاد میشه فقر و تنگدستی روز به روز در کشور ما شما زیاد شده است. هر چیز زیاد شده سوء تغذیه واقعیتش زیاد میشه و خواهش ما این است که مؤسسات کمک رسان جامعه جهانی کمک بکنه برای ما، برای فامیلا، برای طفلا که واقعیت سوء تغذیه کمتر شود.
The scene at the Indira Gandhi Hospital, which is funded by the Taliban government and the international aid agencies, is not unique. Malnutrition wards in dozens of other public hospitals in the country that provides free treatment for malnourished children are just as busy. The United Nations Children's Agency estimated 1.1 million Afghan children under the age of 5 are expected to suffer from severe malnutrition in 2022. The number of children under the age of 5 being admitted to the medical facilities for severe acute malnutrition jumped to 28,000 in March 2022 from 18,000 in March a year ago. Families of children share a similar story where they couldn't afford to feed their children properly due to poverty.
خیلی ناراحت هستیم. کل ما از خورد و خواره هایش شوهرم کل ما خامت هستیم. حتی شوهرم ده یک هفته خدا بیخی برام تون ایران میرم. گفت که ما شرمت با من نه دوایش گرفته بیتم نه شیرش گرفته بیتم. دختر پیشونی چشم باید بیره من چطور کنم؟
بله دکتر ما مشکل زیاد داشتم. اقتصاد ما خوب نبود. اقتصاد ما ضعیف است. پیدا شد ما پیشکاری میشدم پیسه نبود. پیشکاری به خودم کنم طفل میرفتم شد. اقتصاد خوب نه حالا می پیسه نگفتی کنم. اقتصاد ما خوبش نگیره تداوتی کنم.
The Taliban seized power in August last year as the last US-led troops withdrew after 20 years of war with the hardline Islamists. The pullout and cutoffs by the United States and other funders of direct assistance on which the impoverished nation depended upon worsened the financial and humanitarian crisis in the country, leading to the economy collapsing and millions enduring food shortages. Observers say due to the surging prices, many Afghans cannot afford basic living necessities.
Moving on, India became a responsible country and has reached milestone towards a safer environment by increasing its clean energy capacity. The country has taken up the responsibility of reducing the deleterious effects of climate change by achieving its target under Green India Mission. Have a look.
This hotel, with solar panels in place of window panes, is but one example of how many are understanding the threat of climate change and are endeavoring to make necessary changes to slow the threat. Hotelier Narayana Rao's 5-story guest house in Vishakhapatnam has 201 solar panels. The panels cost over 50,000 USD, but for Mr. Rao, the panels are a small price to pay for sustainability.
एनवायरनमेंट ग्लास और ये एको पैनल लगाने से एनवायरनमेंट को मैं पूरा 40 किलोवाट जो पावर है और नेचुरल पावर लेना पड़ेगा और नेचुरल पावर बनता है एक तो कोयला से, दूसरा अणुधार्मिक का होता है, एक तो जल से होता है। ये इसने मेरे कम से कम मेरा 40 किलोवाट्स का जो मेरा यूज़ है वो तो मैं कम कर सकता हूँ। यानी मेरी तरफ से पर्यावरण को थोड़ा सा ये करेंगे, सेवा करेंगे।
At a larger scale, the government of India has doubled down on its efforts to reduce carbon emission and has set a target for the coming years and decades. India increased its green energy output in May, reducing its dependence on coal, despite a 23.5% growth in power demand, which contributed to a rise in utilities' coal inventories. At present, 40% of India's installed electricity capacity comes from renewable sources like solar, wind, and hydropower. At the United Nations 2021 Climate Summit, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced an ambitious plan to reduce India's dependence on fossil fuel. Under New Delhi's pledge target, it would achieve its net zero emissions by 2070, and by 2030, it would endeavor to touch the mark of 500 gigawatts of non-fossil fuel energy. This would reduce carbon emissions by 1 billion tons. India spent a total of 14.5 billion USD on renewable energy last year, up by 125% compared with the financial year 2020 to 21, and 72% higher than in the pre-pandemic period of the 2019 to 2020 financial year.
We are on track with respect to whatever we have committed to ourselves and to international community, and most of the spending is coming from private sector.
India has an immediate renewable energy target of 50% of its total energy needs, which the government says it will be able to achieve within a few years. Every arm of the Indian government has already set out on their mission, with alternate sources of energy being pursued aggressively in all aspects of lives. The phasing out of petrol and diesel vehicles and their CNG and electric alternatives hitting the road is just one facet of the country's multi-pronged green mission. While the per capita carbon emission of India is one of the lowest among the world's major economies, an absolute green India doesn't seem implausible, with the kind of enthusiasm and capital being pushed into the project.
Now we take a look at some happenings in Asia in a segment called Asia Watch.
Torrential rains that slammed South Korea's capital Seoul left at least 9 people dead and about 2,800 homes and buildings damaged, as it diminished this week. Heavy downpours on August 8 to August 9 submerged streets and buildings, trapping people in flooded apartments and stranding cars. Flooding in some buildings around the glitzy Gangnam district continued on Tuesday, while subway stations and several roads that were blocked. More rain was expected for Wednesday, but the Korea Meteorological Administration predicted that the rainfall would gradually subside. A Russian rocket carrying an Iranian satellite successfully launched into space as Moscow and Tehran seek to build closer ties in the face of Western sanctions. The remote sensing satellite called Kayam was launched by a Russian Soyuz rocket from Baikonur Cosmodrome, the home of Russian space launches located in Sedan, according to a video broadcast by Russia's Roscosmos space agency. Tehran has rejected claims that the satellite could be used by Moscow to boost its intelligence capabilities in Ukraine, saying Iran will have full control and operation over it from day one. The Washington Post reported last week that US officials are concerned by the fledgling space cooperation between Russia and Iran, fearing the satellite will not only help Russia in Ukraine but also provide Iran unprecedented capabilities to monitor potential military targets in Israel and the wider Middle East. Iran says that the satellite is designed for scientific research, including radiation and environmental monitoring for agricultural purposes. Russia has sought to deepen its ties with Iran since February 24, when the Kremlin ordered tens of thousands of troops into Ukraine. In July, President Vladimir Putin visited Iran in his first international trip outside the former Soviet Union since the start of Russia's military campaign in Ukraine. The United States will return to Cambodia 30 looted antiquities, including bronze and stone statues of Buddhist and Hindu deities carved more than 1,000 years ago. The Southeast Asian country's archaeological sites, including Kokare, a capital of the ancient Khmer Empire, suffered widespread looting in civil conflicts between the 1960s and the 1990s. Cambodia's government has since sought to repatriate stolen antiquities sold on the international market. US prosecutors in 2019 charged Lachpot, a dual citizen of Thailand and the United States, with wire fraud and smuggling over the alleged looting. He died in Thailand in 2020.
Japanese company Rinnai has introduced a new showroom in Nagoya at the headquarters of the company. Rinnai is a global manufacturing company that provides water heaters, kitchen appliances, air conditioning, bath facilities and other machinery to help people live healthier and more comfortable lives. It's been more than 100 years since Rinnai launched its gas supply line, which has some different products like a gas stove, oven, water heaters and others. Even users can combine cooking utensils and cooking applications developed by Rinnai and cook them automatically. Bubble bath units generate large amounts of bubbles for various sizes to provide a comfortable bath time. Rinnai started to produce gas appliances, but under the 2050 carbon neutral movement, energy saving is an important issue all over the world. But Rinnai's policy is to save energy without patience. It means Rinnai products release energy savings by themselves. The expertise and experience of Rinnai guarantees a comfortable and healthy life along with contributing to a reduction in carbon emissions. Developing metaverse and embodied virtual reality experience has become a key component in global business. 3D virtual spaces for businesses is reforming enterprises along with achieving a milestone in artificial intelligence with each passing day. This is a virtual space that recreates major tourist attractions in Tokyo, Japan. Users can freely walk around places like Akihabara, which is known as the Electronic Town, and an old traditional shrine, along with enjoying the scenery and shopping. This is a virtual space where users can participate as crew members of the International Space Station. With the cooperation of JAXA, the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency, users can enjoy a real-time view by connecting to the real-time location of the space station. After the invention of the Internet and Social Networking Services (SNS), the invention and upgradations of metaverse technologies are attracting investments and users from around the world. Festivals are a significant part of India and Nepal, acting as a vehicle for the presentation of our values and emotions. One of the festivals which unites the cultural ethos of different regions of the country is Raksha Bandhan or Sibling Festival. On this occasion, sisters tie Rakhis on the wrist of their brothers, symbolizing love and brotherhood, and wish them a long and prosperous life. Have a look.
Indian women across India celebrated Raksha Bandhan or Sibling Festival with the utmost traditional fervour. Raksha Bandhan is a prominent Hindu festival honouring a special bond shared between siblings. Raksha literally means protection, while Bandhan means a bond. On this auspicious day, sisters put tilak and a red vermilion powder and tie rakhi or sacred thread on their brothers' wrists and wish them a long, prosperous and happy life. In return, the brothers promise to protect their sisters throughout their lives. To mark the occasion, a large number of women tied rakhis on the wrists of border security personnel in the northern Atari town at the border between India and Pakistan.
तो बहुत अच्छा लगा, बहुत बढ़िया लगा। राखी बांधने के लिए आए तो हमारे जितने भी सैनिक भाई है उनके साथ, यहाँ की बहनें हैं, सैनिक बहनें, उनके साथ भी हम राखी बांध के हमें इतना सुकून मिला है। मेरी सब सहेलियाँ, सब मेरा ग्रुप बहुत ही खुश है।
Raksha Bandhan is celebrated on the full moon night in the holy month of Shravan. Siblings also exchange special gifts to celebrate the occasion. Even sisters observe the fast on this day as a mark of respect and protection of their brothers. It is believed that when sisters keep fast for their brothers on Raksha Bandhan, they are blessed with a happy, prosperous and long life. Moreover, in India's eastern Bhubaneswar city, while observing the occasion, children of prisoners performed a ritual with fire and flowers.
घर में अगर मैं होती तो एक भाई में होता, यहाँ पर बहुत सारे भाई बहन हो गए, तो मैं बोलना चाहती हूँ कि हर भाई उनके बहन को रक्षा कीजिए.
In Nepal too, Raksha Bandhan is celebrated with the greatest religious fervor. On this day, people in Himalayan nation also celebrate the Janai Purnima festival when they tie a sacred string on the wrist and change the string they wear around their body. It is believed a person wearing a Janai thread should have control over body, speech and mind.
यो आज गरिने जो स्नान हो यसलाई चाहिँ जो श्रावणी स्नान भनिन्छ हैन. श्रावणीमा चाहिँ श्रावणी पूर्णिमामा गर्ने जो स्नान हो. यसमा सर्वप्रथम चाहिँ जो हामीले महासंकल्प पढ्छौं पहिले हैन. महासंकल्प पढ्छौं. महासंकल्प पढिसकेपछि त्यसमा चाहिँ जो हामीले चाहिँ जो विशेष समन्त्रक जो मन्त्रपूर्वक गोबर भयो, त्यसपछि मृत्तिका भयो, गोबर भयो, भस्म भयो हैन, यी सबै हामीले मन्त्रपूर्वक स्नान गर्छौं.
According to Hindu mythology and epic Mahabharata, Lord Krishna accidentally cut his finger with the Sudarshan Chakra. After seeing this, Princess Draupadi tied a piece of cloth to prevent blood loss. Lord Krishna was deeply moved by her gesture and promised to protect her from all evils in the world in return. Raksha Bandhan is celebrated enthusiastically in all parts of India and neighboring Nepal. This year, the occasion was set to stretch over 2 days through August 11 and 12.
It's time for me to wrap up today's episode. We will be back next week at the same time. This is Yeshi signing off on behalf of the entire production team of South Asia Today. Goodbye and take care.